You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts.
All right, Black and White Sports supporters. Well, I wanted a chance to talk about this, and I was not available when the news broke that Bill Belichick was going to UNC officially and that it was a done deal and yada, yada, yada. But this gives me a chance to talk about it now because a lot has been brought up about the idea that Bill Belichick, would he go back to the NFL? Would he go for a year? And he seemed to have shut some of that down during his press conference, and we'll play that. However, well, there's some contract information that certainly does raise one's eyebrow. Now, the one thing that came out of that big Wickersham article from ESPN was the fact that Belichick was disgusted. It was because, in the words of a confidant, Belichick is, quote, disgusted in what he believes the NFL has become. Quote, this is a big FU to the NFL, another Belichick confidant said. And this article started out with the fact that it was a big meeting of the minds between a lot of expatriate dudes, Josh McDaniels, Michael Lombardi, Matt Patricia, you know, the gang's all here, right? And according to a source, they believed the Chicago Bears was the best job, right? Of the ones that could be available or that are at least currently open. Now, I think some things changed the complexion of this. I believe he believed that there was a real chance the Cowboys' job would be coming open at the end of the year. And I'll be the first to say it. I thought the Eagles were going to crash and burn. Nick Sirianni was going to turn out to be a dumpster fire, and they would fire him, and Belichick would have a real shot at an Eagles job because of his relationship with Howie Roseman. Well, that's not going to happen because the Eagles are killing it. The other place was the Bills. If the Bills crashed and burned immediately in the playoffs, that Sean McDermott might get the door and Belichick could go to Buffalo. Combined with Josh Allen, that would be very interesting, right? And the Bears, yeah, the Bears do make some sense. But they've got Kevin Warren there, and again, I'm going to say it again, if Kevin Warren literally has scared off Belichick and Jim Harbaugh, do you sure you got the right guy in Chicago leading things up? And I know Ben Johnson's the hot commodity, this and that and the other, but if you peel back the layers, you're talking about two damn good head coaches that want nothing to do with that guy. I would be asking, if I'm Bears ownership, I would be asking some questions, some self-reflection there. All right? I wouldn't want to know I got a guy working for me that scared off Belichick and Harbaugh. What? Because I think all these organizations, when their jobs come open, they all owe it to themselves to bring Belichick in and talk to him. That's what being a good organization would do. That's responsible to your fan base. Even if you don't hire him, you need to talk to the greatest coach of all time. All right? So, of course, this happened yesterday. He was asked, what do you say to people that fear that if you succeed here that you might leave for the NFL again in a year or two? This is what Belichick said.
Pat Welter, WRL. Bill, what do you say to people that fear that if you do succeed here that you might leave for the NFL again in a year or two?
Yeah, I didn't come here to leave.
Okay, and they got a round of applause, and that's awesome. But there's a big fly in the ointment. And by the way, I do believe things like the connection to his father in North Carolina and his connection to college, I think that truthfully matters to Bill. I do. I think that's a big deal to him. But this contract is awfully interesting. And I continue to say, watch for one job in particular. If he could get the New York Giants job, where he was a coordinator under Bill Parcells, I wonder. It's one job. I mean, if John Mara called Bill And Daboll's got the job. Shane's got the job right now. But let's be honest, it's not working out. It's not. Remember the guy flying across the stadium? Fix this dumpster fire, Mr. Mara. The contract detail that raises doubts about Bill Belichick's North Carolina future. This is starting to go viral. Now that Bill Belichick signed his name on the dotted line to become the 35th head coach in North Carolina history, the Tar Heels have released details above the line. One in particular has spurred cause for concern. I would be concerned. Should the winningest coach in NFL history decide to leave his post in Chapel Hill right before or right after his first season, he would only incur a $1 million buyout. That's nothing. I mean, an NFL team would pay that in a minute if they're serious. The provision kicks in on June 1st. And I looked at multiple sources on this, and it is June 1st, 2025, folks, long before kickoff. All right, we're talking a couple of months before kickoff. Approximately 2 months before the 2025 college football season is set to begin. The term sheet also states, should Belichick 72 leave before June 1, it would be much more expensive, $10 million. That's a 5-year, $10 million guarantee from 2025 to 27. The contract is non-guaranteed in its final 2 years. Belichick, with a switch of a pen, became the highest paid state employee in North Carolina history. And I think that's very interesting that nugget has now surfaced. That's an easy out. It's an easy out. And do I believe if the Jags called, Belichick's going to head out the door? No, I don't. I think he thinks the cons are jokes, and I think he thinks a lot of ownership in the NFL right now is jokes. And let's be real, he's not wrong. Tepper didn't even interview him. David Tepper. Jimmy Haslam. Well, he was already with the Browns once. I get that. But let's just look at the ownership around the league. Haslam, Johnson, Tepper. It's not looking great in Chicago right now. John Mara's not looking great these days. The cons. It's the same organizations having to hire coaches over and over and over again. You could throw Jerry Jones in there. He went on a rant the other day on radio about about the fact that Belichick's basically football Jesus. And I'm thinking to myself, then why in the hell wouldn't you hire this guy and go win a Super Bowl next year or the next couple of years at some point? Said he could run a billion-dollar business. That's how smart Belichick is. Okay, well, hire him to run yours, Jerry. But the point is, after I saw that buyout, I was like, oh. So the only place I believe that really gets interesting is if the New York Giants call. If the Giants call and he's allowed, and look, this is what Belichick's got a problem with. Michael Lombardi's brought this up. It's the structure, okay? Everybody keeps saying the Atlanta Falcons didn't want Bill. Well, yeah, Arthur Blank did want Bill. He was going to hire him. But his little clown show, Terry Fontenot and those guys, didn't want Bill because Bill would come in there and stomp the metaphorical shit out of everybody in the organization and get them out of there. And that's why they put that's the ixnay on the hiring Bill A. That's why they didn't want him. And it's the structure, it's the people under ownership that Bill's got a big problem with in the NFL right now. And he thinks that's not how an organization should be set up these days. You know, it should be a lot more, actual football people that should be involved. And you got some people that are not football people in football kind of spots right now. That's very $1 million to get out of it. By the way, I want to see him stay at North Carolina. I think that's so interesting. And I do believe, maybe not next year, but the year after, I think Belichick could take North Carolina to the CFP. I believe there's 12 spots. Could he win the ACC? Sure, of course, because he's going to out-scheme every coach in the conference, including Dabo. Y'all got a new sheriff in town from the scheming standpoint and game plan standpoint. He is the GOAT. Tell me what you think. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.